Flashpoint Radio, rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun.
Yes.
With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Want to say a pleasant good morning and welcome to the breakfast hour this morning. If you're just joining us for the first time, I want to say a pleasant good morning to you. I welcome our newest persons who have joined us, our friends in Montego Bay, Jamaica. I want to say good morning to you this morning. I give a shout out across the Grand Cayman Islands and our friend across Canada. You know, last night I enjoyed having Marie on the last show that we did last night.
It was certainly wonderful. Pleasant good morning to our listeners, and of course, a special good morning to the lady CoraleeKaren, and of course, Mikey G. It's breakfast hour time.
Yeah, man. CoraleeKaren, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Fantastic Friday!
It's a fantastic Friday indeed. I will tell you, it is this weekend promises to be one of the most interesting of a lot of weekends that we have had for a long time. This one.
I wonder why it's so interesting to you, Mikey G.
I don't think it's just to me. It's just about everyone is looking at it. I think some attention has been brought to it at a different level, and I think it needs to happen because I think when we are making decisions, I can't, or we always say we must not make decisions and our wives don't know about it, and we must include our family in the decision making, and we are CEOs together thing, that kind of things, the mindset you're having there. But I figure the CEO thing gone when time is another set of people making the decisions. So it changes, over time.
Well, as we get started this morning, Mikey G, I am extremely grateful that we have made it. Yes, we have made it to the end of another week. It's not by chance. I was listening to a video by one of our VIPs, and what he was saying is that he was so happy to have reached his 50th birthday, and he went as far as to mention some friends, some colleagues that he knows that did not make it to 50. Some made it to 49, some made it to 47, some made it to 48, but they didn't make it to 50. So he said, I'm so grateful this morning. I'm grateful that I'm alive to see this milestone. And so certainly I am grateful that we have had all week, and today is Friday, breakfast hour time.
Little CoraleeKaren, you were saying something.
No, fantastic Friday. I was wondering the genesis of
Alright, so we had a little difficulty with Lady Coralie just now.
Yes, so I think we could go for our devotional and then we work through our.
Alright, let's go for the devotional when we come.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I mean she's here, and I know we will be hearing her better now. Yes, CoraleeKaren.
I think we'll go for a devotional when we come back.
Good morning. This is day 13. The natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. Spiritual Deafness, written by Richard Dehaan. Some people suffer from a strange hearing disorder. They can hear sounds, but can't understand words. They have no trouble hearing a bird sing or a watch tick, but words are as unintelligible as if they were a foreign language. The source of the problem is not in the ears. It stems from an injury to the brain. There is also a spiritual deafness that affects many people. Because of a sinful heart, those without faith in Christ can read the Bible and hear the teaching of God's Word, but its spiritual message is foolishness to them. That explains why some people can appreciate the Bible as literature, as reliable history, and as a source of high moral standards, but they fail to understand its spiritual message. They don't grasp the significance of what it says about Christ, His death on the cross for our sins, His resurrection, and His ministry of intercession for us in heaven today. These truths make no sense to them. As you read the Bible, do you hear what it says? If not, ask the Lord to open your understanding to what it says about Jesus. Put your trust in Him as your personal Savior and experience a spiritual birth. That's the cure for spiritual deafness. We cannot understand God's truth until we know the Lord. It's when our heart is home to Him that we understand His Word. Our quote this morning reads, "The key to understanding the written word is knowing the living word." End quote.
It's all Gospel Friday. When it's all Gospel Friday. It is doing what it needs to do. I'm telling you, it's another thing altogether.
Yes, yeah, and it is Friday the 13th. I was trying to find
Are you saying today is Friday the 13th?
I think it is.
It is Friday the 13th.
It is.
I would love to know the origin of the myth surrounding Friday the 13th. Is that what the video was intended to show? The origin of it?
Well, no, I mean, we're not even thinking about Friday. I didn't even thought of Friday 13th today until Lady Elise said it a while ago. I had no thinking about the Friday 13th story.
I almost believe people mark it on their calendars much the same as they do the holidays.
We have a little feedback, a little bit of feedback here. I think so. Wow. Alright, let's shoot the video that we're starting with. I want to share a little bit on family this morning. Family has a very important part to play in the entire Friday experience, right? And
Yes.
so today, this is where we're talking about Father's Day, and to get to fathering, there is one that I wanted you to. There's one that was there. I wanted.
Yeah.
To. Did I get it? Did you get it? Did we have it?
Let me share the first one. Let's go.
The first one. Okay, let's share the first one.
Born in 1990, has experienced an eventful love life. Her first marriage to WNBA player Glory Johnson in 2015 was brief and turbulent, ending in divorce the following year after a widely publicized domestic dispute. The experience, though difficult, became a catalyst for her growth and resilience. Later, Griner reconnected with Sherelle Watson, a fellow Baylor University student, and their relationship blossomed into something profound. They began dating in 2016, became engaged in 2018, and married on June 18, 2019. Their bond was tested during Griner's detainment in Russia in 2022, where Sherelle's unwavering advocacy drew global attention. On July 8, 2024, they welcomed their first child, Bash Raymond, into the world.
I wanted to ask if this was a man or a woman you're looking at, because they have children too. I was thinking, CoraleeKaren.
There are two questions though. The first one is, this is definitely female, no question about it, and I don't believe they are purporting to be otherwise. That's my observation. It's
Right.
not that she's changing her gender. She is saying, I'm female and I like women.
Well, alright,
So-
fine. No, well, she's saying female and I'm a man.
I didn't get that.
Well, alright, fine.
get
So
that.
I know you probably didn't get it, but if you notice, she dressed like a man. Do you realize that she's all masculine looking? She tried to make the masculine appearance. Do you see that?
I did, but she is not changing her gender. She's saying, I'm female. I do not. I'm not. Well, I don't see or hear anything that she's changing her gender. She just
No,
like
I understand.
having
I understand, but I'm asking, do you see that she's dressing more like a man than a woman?
I agree with you. And all I'm doing is making the distinction between persons who say that they are one sex in the body of another, this one is not purporting to be taking that position. She's just saying, this is it. I may be the one who is wearing the pants in the house, but
No,
I am not saying I am him.
and that's what I was expecting you to say. That's exactly what I wanted. And I mean, that's it. That's the answer. You gave the answer. You know, without changing my gender. I am the one who wearing the pants in the house. You know.
You know what I find interesting though, Mikey G
Yes, lady.
and CoraleeKaren, is how normalized the narrative was. You know, the finding a relationship, finding love, welcoming a child, and you had to question. And it seems so normal.
It should be illegal for persons who are doing these things to adopt people's children.
No,
To bring them into these things.
what I'm sharing with you is that
It should be.
whereas, and that is how important learning and conditioning is, because this sort of lifestyle, it, to me, looking from the outside, it's not like they're trying to do this. This is their reality. This is something that they have embraced, and it's the norm.
Let me ask you. If somebody like said, imagine, many times, many years ago, they were always catching people having relations with animals, right? A pig here, a donkey there, a goat there, something like that, right? But those persons, the reality of this experience is real. You cannot beat that.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
you can't
Yes.
dismiss the idea that this is also, it's a real thing. It is what
Yes.
is in the mind, that this is what is real for me. And it is true. Nothing, I cannot say to someone that this is not real for you. I will not say that. I will not say that you don't have the right to do these things, providing the law is allowing you to do it. And even if the law don't allow you to do it, I won't stand in the way to do it, because people go steal and rob and do all kind of things anyhow. Right? But I'm saying that this is not something false, and I'm not using the context to say that they're not feeling this, and they're not, because they have. You can imagine the concept of a person loving a dog, and the dog is actually the partner, for argument's sake.
But it does. Okay, I understand what you're saying when you said it's their reality.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it normal, and I believe the mere fact that they together could not have children is evidence of such. So whether it is a dog or whether it is the same sex, it, though real, doesn't make it normal.
But I'm not.
And unfortunately, we have come to a stage where, well, I don't know that they have legalized it, but it is no longer a criminal offense.
Well, listen, that's why it is important, the CoraleeKaren, that's why it is important for persons who, and I have this conversation all the time, I'm saying, if you're not a Christian or somebody who considers the Bible as a guide that would allow you to have that moral compass, then this conversation is not for you. You're exempted from this. You're exempted from this conversation. But if you're in line, with biblical principles and saying that you are projecting in this direction, then this is your argument. This is your conversation, and so this is the one that we are having with you, the persons who actually subscribe to this narrative. But those who don't, anything for you is fine. I'm not going to say that this is what I'm going to ask you to comply with.
But Michael, I have a slight deviation from what you're saying, whereas I accept it wholeheartedly. I'm reminded of a statement that it could have been a pastor that had made it, even more so, And the statement is, Jesus' death was for everybody. Meaning, whether you are black, white, Asian, Syrian, whether you are of Islamic faith, whether you're Buddhist, Christ's death is for everyone. And I'm making the statement to say, whether you accept it or not, nature makes it wrong. So even if you don't accept God, your bodily function, 2 women cannot have children, 2 men cannot. So even if you do not give credit to God, your very existence defies what you're doing. And I'm reminded of nature, when it was Paul who were looking at the people and they were worshiping the nature, and he's like, let me introduce you to the God of nature. So whether we accept God or not, whether we accept the Bible or not, the natural function of things is sufficient to say to us it is not right.
Well, this is true. I'm still holding true to the idea that if you don't believe it, and this is the part that gets you every time, the God of love who accepts us in our sinful condition, and we know that there is no truth to that. And so if you don't accept God and adhere to His principles, then you're going to be in a situation. But here's where I wanted this. I'm having this conversation. When you started out earlier, you said that if you wear the pants, then you are the one who runs the house. And I want to go back there. And so it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, if you wear the pants. And this pants wearing can come in very different ways. Now, we are seeing the same principle gradually creeping into the heterosexual relationship between men and women. And so here is where we are now. And so we are not seeing the correlation so easily, because it seems like the lines are blurred somewhere. And we are blinded by the fact that the wife you have in your house is still the wife that you married. But she's now ruling you, as the man in the house. And you see this happening, right? And you can't stop yourself to understand that you are now the wife. She's wearing the pants,
Lady Elise, let me tell you, anywhere you take the conversation, you can be assured, Mikey G, it's going to be right. But how do you reach from the fact that these people who, Brittany Griner?
Yeah, they're insignificant to the conversation in a lot of ways, but they are the principal rule of where the conversation is going.
I'm telling you, I am amazed.
Burst the balloons for me.
Amazed.
Burst the one with the balloons. The one with the balloons.
With Mikey G.
The one with the balloons. Put that one up for me.
Hey, best friend. I'm her man. My name is Tiante. I'm a music artist and...
Yeah, go ahead. Let it run.
I'm not her gay best friend. I'm her man. My name is Tiante. I'm a music artist and a social media influencer.
I am Keisha, and I'm a music artist.
A lot of my followers, they're like, where's your girlfriend? Where's your girlfriend? You always talk about it, but we don't ever see her. So that's when I finally decided to show her. They went crazy. The world doesn't understand it yet, so
All right.
They went insane, like they belong in a mental hospital. He in the mirror more than her. Women date anything today. He seems like he likes men. You gayer than RuPaul talking about he found the one. I do believe y'all like the same thing, ding-a-ling. She looks like your sister. I thought you were gay. I only can try my best to help them understand by showcasing communication.
All right. I guess you got it. Well, let me tell you. Let's hear the take on it. CoraleeKaren, I don't know. You tell me what you think.
Huh?
What are you thinking? You tell me. What are you thinking?
You should have just.
I'm still.
All right, Lady Elise, CoraleeKaren is actually, she's trying to get herself together right now. You take a shot at it and tell what your mind is saying.
My mind says, all right, so he seems to be outdoing her with his looks already. I mean, hair and everything well done. So perhaps they will probably have the same hairdresser, same nail person, because I mean, although he is a man, he is certainly, quite,
Say the word, man. Say it like it is. Quite what?
interesting.
You know what? I'm not going to force you to say what you don't want to say. But it's like the elephant in the room and you're looking at it, right? Alright, CoraleeKaren, you got the thoughts together. Shoot the shot now. Let's go. We have just a minute or two to get out of here. You want with the balloons?
No,
Lady Elise, you have the one with the balloons? You have the one with the balloons?
No.
You don't have it? Alright, go ahead. Go ahead, CoraleeKaren. Let me see if I can get that to you, Lady Elise.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate that we do not have, we do not know who we are. You know, first of all, he's one thing. The female is another thing. I mean, what does it say about her being okay in a space like that where you're competing? It would appear. And he, you know, how do you get affirmation if the person is trying to get ahead of you or want to better you, as it were? I'm not. What it says to me is that we have reached a stage where we're always trying to push the bucket, push the envelope, to be so different, to make a spectacle of ourselves that we're going to any length. I don't know how it's just not healthy from, as I said, nature in and of itself.
Yes.
Is sufficient anchor to let us know what is right or wrong. So even if you don't ascribe it to the creator, the truth is you have enough evidence to know what is right and what is wrong. And I think people are just going against what they believe. They don't want to be a part of the status quo. And so they're doing everything else to defy it.
Alright, do you believe that feminism is a real thing?
Absolutely it is.
It teaches equality. It teaches that a concept of equality, right?
Well, I'll tell you,
I'm asking, does it teach a concept of equality? That's what I'm asking.
It does.
Alright.
But the truth of it
Can I go with equality for you? Can I go with equality for you? Can I go with equality for you? So it
But then I'll say to you, Michael.
Yes.
I'll say to you, Michael, that even within feminism, they are not definitive as to what it is that they define equality to be.
So we are looking at, we just looked at equality. We are looking at now what the feminist movement teach, the equality of men and women. Isn't that so?
It's bigger than that.
No, but then while it's bigger than that, this is the basic principle of it.
It's not so much the equality of men and women. It's the equality of, I would, and I hate to say it like this because then I know it's gonna affirm what you're saying.
Blow it up.
It is.
Blow it up.
It is teaching that females are equal to. Not that
to men. To men. Equal to men.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Let me have this now. So the equality syndrome that we are teaching, the feminist movement is teaching, that women are equal to men. This is what it looks like. Because for a woman to be equal to a man, he has to be more feminine so she can be matching him. You see how beautiful they blend, how equal they are? You see the equality now? And this is what you're seeing being perpetuated. It might not look like that. Don't, not yet, Lady Elise. Hold on. And so the equality that you're looking at, this is what it amounts to over time. Because men now are more feminine than usual. And so you're seeing the effeminate men more established than men who are really masculine and not going to deal with none of this. And so women are liking the effeminate men because they are seeming themselves more inferior to them, or are equal with the men, which is the idea of equality in its fullest sense. People say working and all that, but then this is the element of it that nobody notices. This is the side of the equality that nobody really realized, that what when they talk about feminism, it's the same thing as they say socialism, capitalism, fascism, or communism. And these are the same isms. They have a function, and so they have rudimental rule of getting basic or some objectives. And the objective of feminism is to get men so feminized that they are not strong enough to be the leaders of their very homes that they have.
Is that really? No. I mean, I see where you're going with it, because ultimately, if it is that women are trying to erode the position of the man, then it could be that they will have no choice but to be effeminate. So I get where you're going with it. I think my challenge is that they're not asking the men, it may be the result, they're not asking the men to come down too. They are saying women should elevate themselves or go or get up to where the men are.
But that you know that a woman cannot be a man unless she start to wear the pants like the woman you see marrying the next woman. So a man, the position of a man is the ability to marry and to name another person like himself. And so what you're looking at is the equality. Well, the equality is that this woman who married the next woman is now equal to a man because she now has the power of marriage to another woman. And you're seeing the equality thing, you can see it mushrooming into all the different areas. And you can't exempt them because it's what you're looking at. So the whole feminist movement has brought, is actually, so let me put it this way. Feminism is not something that women came up with. So I want to put that on the table from now. So who is the evil that causes or create this system that uses it against women to destroy families, right? And so you have to see the principle at play, because women were not the ones who came up with feminism.
Okay.
Who is responsible?
Well, all right. My study suggests to me that it didn't start out as such a divisive agent, but then so is the devil. He is very.
So is the devil.
Yes. So he just wants a foot in.
He just wants a foot in. And every time he speaks, who does he speak to? Every time he have an intention to carry out a plan, who is his best agent? Tell me.
I am not going there with you, Michael, because I can give you as many instances.
I'm not saying that women. Listen. I am saying that the women are the most susceptible. And I'm saying this. This is what I'm saying.
No.
This is what I'm saying. No. This is what I'm saying. Most susceptible to the plan of the enemy. Here how it works. This is what I'm saying. If you see how interesting the conversation can go, while we love our women, we know that the plan of the enemy did not start with the women. They are using our women as pawns in the process, right? To destroy something that God has made. So it is not that women are doing this. So we're not blaming women for anything. We are just saying that women are susceptible to the usage of the enemy more than the men.
No. Joseph's brothers were men. Judas, man. Peter, man. And you couldn't have been closer to Jesus than these men. So I am unable to accept that position. I will agree that we are, as humans, very susceptible to the wiles of the devil.
And I'm agreeing with you. That's why I said more. When I said more, I didn't mean that. I didn't say that men are not.
No.
I did not say that men are not. I did not say that.
Sorry.
Alright, so let me go with this.
No, because now we're going to get to degrees, and I'm going to say to you, which is the point I made earlier, that whereas Eve had to be away from her source, Judas was right there in the midst of God. So too Peter. And so the point is that we can't go degrees.
So you have to say two different things then. So men are corrupting themselves while women are being corrupted. So the man will come to corrupt himself enough to take over and to be jealous of the next man's leadership. The next man, right? He's corrupting himself. Is that the devil? The devil did not. Nobody corrupted the devil, Men are like unto God, the image, right? And so we are all in the image of God, men and women. But then men are the leaders of their homes. Now let me ask you a question. When the enemy comes in, who is he trying to attack? The woman to destroy her, or to try to destroy the man and his family?
I would ask you the question, does it matter the agent or the medium he uses? Because
don't you think that you must discuss that? Who is the agent of the devil?
No, well, and I'm saying both. We both are, because when a man commits infidelity, you have a very loyal woman at home. Who is he using? It still can't be the woman, and it cannot be that you're going to tell me that because I heard you had a very comical way of putting it on Wednesday when we were talking about the dysfunction of the man's penis. So I don't remember the term you used, but the point is, even if the woman says no, I'm not giving it, it's not a reason for him to go outside. So in that instance, he is the agent.
Alright. So like I said before, men tend to corrupt themselves.
Men in the universal sense?
Men in the universal sense. Is more corrupting himself, or influenced as well. Of course we are all influenced by something. But when we look at the enemy's plan in its fullest sense, and I sympathize with our women in so many ways. I empathize because you're under attack in so many ways, because the men are there and they attack you. It happens, right? And they are actually agents of the devil in that respect to attack women. That's the aspect of it that you must see. And I can't dismiss that ferocious animal called man. Women have no defense against a man unless she have another man to defend her. As much as you might like to think it is so, men are the ones who stand up against other men to defend women. It is a principle of the law of the jungle that the strong man will stand up against another strong man to defend his family, his woman, his children from harm from him.
An interjection there, Mikey.
Yes.
Intentional. So how do you see Mrs. Bobbitt?
How do I see her?
Yes. You remember her, right?
Yeah, I mean.
Infidelity
is not something. Infidelity is not something that is new. And so the answer to that question, then would be this. The answer to that question then would be this. If you ask me the question, I'm answering. And I want to go to the next video. Where's Lady Elise? Put the next video. The answer to your question is this. If that's a routine way of doing it, then men, when they find infidelity as well, they should go around cutting out the woman's private parts as well, And this is not the way to do it. And so, people do things because of emotional an emotional moment, and these things happen. So I just say I mark it off as a moment of insanity, and she went off and did that, and many women came off to say cut it off, cut it off. But then if the men were saying cut it out, I don't think many women would feel good about that. So let's not get. I wouldn't want to get down that road with that conversation, because that's just pure violence right there. You know, and it is a wicked act. It's a wicked act, because the rule of it is she could simply go to somebody else, leave him alone, and go, because she no longer wants him, so she don't have to damage him. And on the other hand, a man don't have to damage a woman because he no longer wants her. You know, don't have to do that.
Right, but
So
I was going from the standpoint. Sorry, I was going from the standpoint about who defends who, because sometimes you may not have another person there to defend you. So that was the purpose of me suggesting that.
But that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying to you that at the end of the day, when you look at it, if you say to me that men are not the defenders of women, or they are not the protectors,
or may not always be available.
But that's all right.
Did you watch the show?
But that's all right.
The show with the show with Jennifer Lopez, where she was being abused, and anywhere she went, the man was so intentional in finding her, and what she ended up doing was equipping herself with defense training, and was able.
Who taught her the defense training?
The man.
All right. So you understand the question, and so I'm saying to you that this is where it is. We don't want to see you being abused. We don't want anybody to hurt you, so we'll train you. I train my daughters. I teach my daughters martial arts to defend themselves if it's necessary, or when it's necessary. And so I have to, as a father, to give them the skills that will defend themselves against assailants, right? All right. I want to go to the next video to show the interesting part about men. Lady Elise, to show the interesting part about men.
Once, can we see you or this?
Oh.
In. Welcome in.
My name's Mondo. Been in IT for about 10 years.
All right, and Mons, can we see you or this?
Oh yeah, I can take it off.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Of course. Go ahead, take the next one off. Okay.
Sorry? Okay, alright.
And what do you look for in a woman?
I do the 5 Fs. Fine, fit, feminine, friendly, funny.
I just don't think we match each other's vibe.
I think it was the ski mask. I'm sorry, but
The first one or the second one?
Just maybe all of it all together, yeah. Well, yeah, it was like the ski mask.
Okay, time to pop another balloon.
Do you want to have kids?
I can be persuaded, but not really, I'll be honest. And that's all she wrote.
All right, that's it. What did you hear, CoraleeKaren? What did you hear?
Well, sorry, it wasn't very clear. Sorry. So, summarize it for me.
Well, I'm thinking you should have heard the conversation. The conversation is necessary. You weren't hearing it too well. Let me see if I can play it again. All right, let's do it again once again. Let's do it one more time. Let's get it one more time.
My name's Mondo. Been in IT for about 10 years.
All right, and Mons, can we see you or this?
Oh yeah, I can take it off.
Okay, yes, thank you. Of course. Go ahead, take the next one off. Okay.
Sorry? Okay, alright.
And what do you look for in a woman?
I do the 5 Fs. Fine, fit, feminine, friendly, funny.
I just don't think we match each other's vibe.
I think it was the ski mask. I'm sorry, but
The first one or the second one?
Just maybe all of it all together, yeah. Well, yeah, it was like the ski mask.
Okay, time to pop another balloon.
Do you want to have kids?
I can be persuaded, but not really, I'll be honest. And that's all she wrote.
All right. Did you get the answer? You hear the conversation? Did you get the conversation, CoraleeKaren? I think our sound has been lost somewhere along the line. I'm not sure. Did we lose our sound?
The sound. I'm saying that the quality of the video was not clear from me.
All right. Let me summarize. Actually, so they're trying to pick wife
A mate, okay.
or in this sense a mate, because I didn't see the qualification of wives there in that whole thing, right? So
Okay.
wife, a mate could have been picked from that, somebody you could mate with, but wife to marry, I'm not sure, right? I may be wrong, but let me just put it like that. Because I would not look for that pool to get any wife from it. Me, I wouldn't do it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a mate possible, but wife, no, not going to happen, right? And so, at the end of it, the young lady who was seemingly waiting and interested in him asked the question. You know what the question was?
Do you want to have children?
Do you want to have children? What was his answer? Did you hear the answer?
He could be persuaded.
He could be persuaded to do that. That's a man speaking.
Which suggests that,
That's a man speaking, right? And so,
which suggests that at this point in time is not a part of his intent, but he could be convinced otherwise.
I'll say this to you. The Christian man cannot have that conversation. A Christian man cannot have that conversation. If you're going to get married, if you're intending to get married, and you claim to be a Christian man, and you decide before marriage that you're not going to have children, then don't get married. Would be the best choice.
But let me ask you, Michael, when the Bible speaks about having your quiver full, wouldn't it be on condition that you can afford to have children?
Well, we haven't even gone to the quiver full yet. We have reached the point where you don't want to have a quiver at all.
Right, but then that's what I'm saying is the opposite of one. So have as many as you can afford to have. If you cannot afford to have any,
there's no marriage that God would intentionally want human beings to get into without the production of children, unless those marriages have some problems in terms of the reproduction of it. The father have a problem, the mother have a problem, and there's a reason that they can't produce. But to go in there and say, I am fully functional, the woman is fully fertile, I am fertile, and we are not going to have children, and you want to get married, I think you should stay away from it. Because God's principle of marriage is one thing. If you don't go in and intentionally want to have children, immediately you're dishonoring the principles of God. And according to the Bible, be fruitful and multiply. And God sets you in that mode.
But Michael, wouldn't it also suggest that as long as you can have children that you should?
But you must have children if you can.
But in terms of how many? So
well, that's another argument. It is. I'm going to say to you.
No, but then your justification for it, or what makes one eligible for children, would be your functionality.
No.
So
your marriage. No. Who makes you eligible is that who makes you that legitimate person who can have children are married couples.
Yeah, but then I'm saying, how then do you determine how many you have?
No. Well, that's when and there comes the thing. You could be like a Jacob who won 12 sons. You know. And that could be the case. And then you could be like a Isaac who have a Esau and a Jacob and a Jacob. You know, so it didn't say how many. I'm not going to put on a family how many you must have,
So
but
the mere
having them
fact,
is must.
yeah, but my point is functionality. If that cannot be the only criteria, and so by virtue of having the functionality, it doesn't qualify you, because I can be functional otherwise, but nothing is happening, because I know of couples who unfortunately they can't. So they had every intention of having children,
but they can't.
But for one reason or another, it's not happening.
But that's what
so
I'm
that's
saying.
one conversation. So I'm agreeing with you on that standpoint. They did not go into it.
They did not go into the relationship saying that they did not want to have children. So I sympathize. I empathize with them trying. Yes.
So the fact is, if it is that I say I only want one child, as opposed to 0 children, why should I be the one who says 0? Why should I be judged?
I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. I am not. I'm not.
If my thing is, if it is that you should your purpose is to have children, then you should have your quiver full until you cannot have any, and that's why you have people with 20 odd children, and we scoff at them. But
and I ask the question, why do you do that? Why would you do that? Why?
Because they're functional. They say that they function. They're able to function. So
that for me would be quite in order for those persons who choose. Like I said to you earlier, that if you're a Jacob who want to have 12 children, and how many daughters? I don't know. 12 sons, I say, and how many daughters? I don't know. But I'm saying that each family, and I also mentioned the Isaac story of having an Esau and a Jacob. And I didn't hear of him having any more sons or daughters. If they were, I don't know. But these are the 2 that is mentioned. And so if that's the case and it's only 2, then I guess that's also a prerogative of the persons who get involved. But without judging anyone, the Bible stipulates that in Genesis, when God created man and woman, and Paul would come back and say, as man is not created for the woman, but the woman for the man, God says, you should be fruitful and multiply. I didn't say Paul said that. I didn't say Paul said that part. Bible in Genesis said that. What Paul said.
In other words,
that he's agreeing with the theory that, not to get it confused, who is made for who, or who is in charge of his family.
So my position is that if it is that you can choose to have 1 or 2, you may very well be in the same category as the person who chooses to have 0.
It couldn't be. It could not be. For this reason only. If God gives you a command, if God says keep the Sabbath holy, and you don't, what does that make you?
Disobedience.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No. Michael, all I'm saying to you is that the person who chooses, again, because they exercise the power of choice, is what limits them. So I only have 2 children. So could it be that by having made a choice not to have any more, that I am in the same category as the person who exercised their power of choice to have 0?
I could not view you like that. And I would not, because the argument is presented is the idea of one person getting into something that the reason to get into it is to produce kids and to reproduce, right? It's like saying it's like saying
to get married.
No, hold on. It's like saying I'm gonna say this. It's like saying I have a canning factory to make corned beef, and I have all these cans but no corned beef in there. and are selling them to people. You know? Oh God.
Except and then here in using your analogy, Michael, what it would suggest is that you should, because you're good at canning, you shouldn't have just one factory. You should have multiple factories.
All right, well, that's also another conversation that you could have, because
because what I'm saying is that you should have enough factories to feed everybody and then some. So you can't. The economy of it should not be at play. So you shouldn't be making sure that the demand and the supply is driving your production. Anyway,
the idea is this. The idea is this though. If you have a factory to make corned beef, you have to make corned beef. Otherwise, you have to close down the factory. You know? In fact, there's no point in having the factory. What I'm saying is this. It is no point in saying that we are getting married under the principle of the biblical terms, and you're not going to intentionally want to have children. If you're not a Christian and don't subscribe to Christian principles, then this conversation is not for you. You can do that and not have any children, because you can do that, because you'd be disobedient, but you would know why and you would know how, you know. So yes,
what if the factory operates to provide employment for other people?
And it produces nothing?
Exactly.
Well, all right. So now we know what it is. It's a shell company, something that is for laundering. Is it money laundering? Is it laundering? What is it? Laundering something?
I am so not going there with you. Michael, based on the clock on the wall, we are way over time for this morning's breakfast. I think we're looking at brunch now.
It's brunch time.
So I humbly submit to you that we need to let's table the conversation for part 2.
Not a problem. I mean, what was intentional about this morning's exercise though is to bring out the idea of how far we have fallen from God's true grace. You know? And when we look at it, and we are hearing men now saying, I don't want to have children, and I'm intentionally, you have to force me to do it, or you have to persuade me to do it, and you want to get married and all these things. It is saying a lot, you know. It's a lot of big things here, you know. Men who are effeminate and don't even know what they are supposed to be, whether they are supposed to be female or male. And then women who now don't know if they are man or woman, or chooses to claim the position of masculinity, even saying that I'm a woman and I'm a, you know, it has been so distorted. So what you're looking at is the enemy, the devil's plan in its fullest potent function within humankind. And that's what I'm saying.
Agreed. So we have gotten so far away from God's ideal that the whole purpose is to pull us back to the natural inclination. And natural here, even if natural here is obvious, you can't hide behind it. So, you know, our encouragement is to get to the source, because the source is God in effect, and that is what solidifies our conviction. But until you have gotten conviction, let nature dictate, because clearly man cannot go to man, woman cannot go to woman. It is not natural.
Bible says you burn in your lust one for another. Man laying with men and women laying with women. And with that said, Lady CoraleeKaren, as you said, what we need to leave the conversation with is this though. Yes.
News. Are we still?
We're going to the news in just a minute. But I want to leave this conversation saying this: that we must not, at any point, excuse the idea of God's forgiveness of sin and His intention to save every single person on this planet. No sin is too great. No sin is too much that he can't deal with it. But we must first want his mercies. You must want his forgiveness. And you must want him to change your heart. That's the only criteria that you have to have. So we're not putting on the table that these people are behaving effeminate or having these wives and men, having men and all that. Cannot. Just like an adulterer, just like a fornicator, just like a thief, to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. You can get forgiveness for sin. And so we want to open the door for every single person. This conversation is not to condemn anyone. This conversation is to bring clarity to how the enemy is busy and working hard behind the scene to corrupt each of us. And whether we are in the church or not, we have to be even more mindful because you're a part of God's church. That these things don't creep in your homes, because it is right there that the devil wants to destroy you. You know? So we have to see this. So, alright. Final words, Lady CoraleeKaren. I leave it to you, and we go to the news when we come back. So give us your final
Remember, it is Fantastic Family Friday. And the encouragement is make it so. You know, be fantastic in yourself. When you look in the mirror, remind yourself that God made you, and because he made you, he is even with sin, his intent is to recreate the perfect and the perfection that he desires in us. And so as we strive to be where God wants us to be, just make it a fantastic day. Make it be so intentional. Start with yourself. Look in the mirror. I am wonderfully made, and as a result, I can be fantastic. Friday.
Having said that, let's take a break. When we come back,
when you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Good morning. It is Friday, June 13th, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm CoraleeKaren. Coast Guard calls off search for journalist Andrel Harris. The Cayman Islands Coast Guard has formally suspended its search for missing journalist Andrel Harris of Compass Media. Harris, 34, was last seen on CCTV at Pedro St. James around 9:30 p.m. on June 3. Despite over a week of intense land, sea, and aerial searches covering 12.25 square miles, authorities say there is no longer a reasonable expectation of finding him alive. His mother, Josette Dell, expressed heartfelt thanks to all agencies and volunteers who supported the search. The Royal Cayman Islands Police will continue to investigate Harris's disappearance. Anyone with information is urged to call 911. Reduced voting hours recommended. Domestic observers of April's general election are calling for polling hours to be cut by 3 closing at 3 p.m. instead of 6. The report cited fatigue and long work hours among election staff. Additional recommendations include redrawing constituency boundaries, amending campaign finance rules, and strengthening laws around electoral inducements, such as treating observers. Also urged more voter education and clarified the roles of domestic versus international observers. Georgetown landfill called an urgent national priority. Environment Minister Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes is calling the Georgetown landfill an urgent national priority after touring the site on World Environment Day. She says the growing waste site poses environmental, health, and economic risks. A previous deal for waste-to-energy facilities fell through, prompting the government to seek new solutions. The minister also praised the over 180 hard-working staff at the Department of Environmental Health. Cayman delegation heads to France for FATF plenary. Premier Andre Ebanks and a Cayman delegation are attending this week's Financial Action Task Force meetings in Strasbourg, France. The trip is in preparation for Cayman's 2027 mutual evaluation. The delegation includes Attorney General Samuel Bulgin and members of the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. The Premier will also travel to London for high-level meetings before returning on June 18. Justin Hastings makes U.S. Open debut. Cayman's Justin Hastings tees off at the 125th U.S. Open at Oakmount Country Club in Pennsylvania. Hastings earned his spot after winning the Latin American Amateur Championship earlier this year. This marks his final amateur event before turning pro later this summer. After the Open, he's off to Canada and then to the PGA Tour's Americas. American Airlines restores evening Miami flight for 6 months. American Airlines has confirmed that its evening flight from Miami to Grand Cayman will run from October 6, 2025 to April 6, 2026. This follows a successful 26-day trial. The flight increases connectivity through Miami and boosts seat capacity by 34% compared to last winter. Cayman Islands Director of Tourism Rosa Harris says it reflects Cayman's strength as a luxury destination. And breaking news, Air India flight crashes after takeoff. Tragic news out of India this morning. An Air India flight bound for London with over 240 passengers crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad. Further details are still emerging, and we encourage you to stay tuned for updates. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Continue to stay tuned to All Gospel Friday.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 2454 or 345-938-3426. Need help to produce your podcast? Flashpoint Media makes it very easy. We can relieve you of the headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky or call us at 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun, with Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Yes.
I say welcome back.
Welcome. Yeah. Well, this is an extended broadcast of the breakfast hour. As usual, the family discussion is one that can get interesting.
Very lengthy.
Because it has it has so many facets, and the definition has been changing, and our aim is to call it back to where it ought to be, right? It doesn't matter how you define it. There's one definition that obtains, and that is according to the Word of God. So we oftentimes get a little bit ahead of ourselves in the conversation, especially Mikey G, right?
Especially Mikey G. I know.
Did you see what I did there?
I know what you did there. And I'm saying you're right, I know, you're right.
Not taking any part of
I excuse you from participating, in my nefarious activities.
Coming out to the news, Mikey. There are a few things that I think we ought to just pay attention to, just to express our condolences to the Harris family. At this stage, we would have been tracking it. It's been a while. His last sighting was on the 3rd of June, and today, 10 days later, having employed all the resources, the different agencies, including volunteers who came out looking and searching. Unfortunately, they have determined that at this point is an investigation is no longer necessary. It was a search and rescue, then it became a search and recovery, and they have now deemed it an investigation because we have accepted that the chances of him having survived is minimal, if not totally removed. So just want to extend our condolences to the family, and by extension, as we go to the international news, to see that the Air India would have crashed and 246 persons having died. One survivor. That is, for me, an amazing circumstance that certainly has piqued my interest, but to extend condolences as well to the family over there in India, and to solicit the prayers from our audience or viewers, because these are very difficult circumstances, and so we want to join in extending our condolences to the families.
CoraleeKaren, when you earlier, just listen to the conversation about the young man, Harris, and I'm starting there as well. You know, so many things came to my mind just listening to the news again this morning. And I want to thank you also for doing such a wonderful job of doing the news. And you know, it is really refreshing to hear the stories coming out that they are not always good stories, but the fact that we are able to bring the conversation, the content, and to highlight some of these things that are devastating or interestingly good or beneficial to us on our newscast each morning right here on the breakfast hour, and we see ourselves as part of the solution, not part of the problem. My mind went through the sequence of thinking, you know, how my conspiracy theory mind works. I'm jumping now to he being a, you know, this is where I'm going now, you know. I'm just looking at these things and I don't want to put too much in it. I'm at the point of saying that he is a news reporter. And I want to just leave it right there by just saying that. And my mind just went to just reminding myself that he is a news reporter.
Yeah.
And I want to leave my mind right there by saying he's a news reporter.
Well,
and,
you know,
and I don't want
to you, Mikey G.
Yes.
That although you purport to leave it there, your mind is very disobedient.
No, but I'm saying no. I'm saying my mind is doing everything, but I want to bring it to the front of everybody's mind. I'm not going to tell them what my mind is telling me or thinking or processing. I want to just remind everyone that he's a news reporter.
Yeah.
Process that.
Yeah.
You understand? Process that. And this is just my mind thinking. It just came to me a while ago while the news was being read. All the time I wasn't thinking about it. I was just thinking that, you know, but as I am now hearing no more rescuing, no more searching, I just think that he's a news reporter. And that's where my mind went immediately. So
absolutely.
I am saddened by that this is where we are now. But as for the persons who in the plane, as for those persons, we are taking these tin cans every day, different places.
Yeah. You know, a flip to that also in the news is that American Airlines, it has increased their flights from Cayman to Miami. You know, so what it says to me is that when we do not put our trust in the pilots, but put our trust in God, because our circumstance is not determined by anything else. And even if God allows it, let us be in a state that is not the temporary that we focus on, but the eternal. So make sure that our lives are such that if unfortunately something were to happen, that we have the hope of the grand revival, you know. So let's just make sure that every moment is putting us closer or fitting us even more so for the eternal kingdom. I also want to say, Michael, that there's just a story of positive. I wanted to highlight Justin Hastings and the fact that he is now turning pro. He's completing the amateur leg of his career in golf, and he now progresses to the PGA Tours in the Americas shortly. And so just want to extend our congratulations to him and his team, because I know he didn't do it on his own. He arrived here because he had the support of many people. So kudos to Justin for where you are in a career, and I'm sure that you will be paying it forward to those persons who, like yourself, have intentions to turn pro. So just wanted to also mention that bit of positive news as well.
Well, I'm going to add my condolences to. Sorry, is it condolences? I'm just messing with that. I'm just messing with that. When I went to that, when you said it a while ago, I thought about somebody working hard to be an engineer, and will not make as much money as that young man playing golf. So I should offer my condolences to the people who actually go to school and study engineering.
That's where you went with that.
My mind just went
Your mind, Mikey G, is disobedient.
How do we measure what is valuable and what is not valuable? And I'm really impressed that that you are even somebody who follows the sport of golf. You're a golfer. I'm saying, really golfing, yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to go further with that conversation.
You know what? I am so not going to allow you, because I have to represent the information, as you rightly stated, whether it is of individual interest or not. I'm sure there may be people who want to don their golf gears and want to know what's happening.
Yeah. Well, come on, I'm just saying. Let's end the conversation. Let's end this morning show with a question.
Oh my goodness.
And then we're going to talk about the wife and the husband a little bit. Not in that sense, but I asked the question on a statistical basis, or if it's opinionated, then it is so. But if the man is stronger in his family, is the family stronger for him being stronger? Or if the woman is stronger in the family, is the family stronger for the woman being stronger than the man? And this is what you're saying. Which one of the family is stronger? The one that is the male is strong in the house, or the one that the female is strong in the house? Which family is the stronger family?
Okay, and on that note, that very provocative note, we would like to thank you for joining us. Those of you who were able to stay for the full.
So you won't answer the question. You won't answer it. In your mind.
I'm being obedient. You said you're going to leave this show
with an answer. The question I'd leave the show with is a question, and I'd ask you, which one you think? I ask you a question, which one you think? Alright, fine. Alright. You don't know. Alright, I'm not going to place you there to answer it. I'm going to leave it at the table. Alright, I'm leaving it there.
I'm being obedient for once.
I'm going to be fair. I'm going to say, okay,
fine. So on that note, very provocative note, we want to thank you for joining the Breakfast Hour extended version this morning. It is all Gospel Friday. It is Fantastic Friday. And our encouragement to you is to make it so. God is amazing. He brought us, we would have spoken about the tragedies, and we extend our condolences to those who have lost their lives. On the other side of it, be very grateful that we are still here, and in that space of gratitude, my encouragement is to extend it to others. Let people understand how valuable it is that you're here this moment, and to make sure it matters to you and to those who you come in contact with today. I would also want to wish you all a very wonderful weekend. It's preparation day, it's Sabbath, and I can tell you, for those who labored for 6 days, it is a reprieve to welcome the Sabbath, to be reignited, renovated, to be rebuilt, reshaped. So enjoy every moment of it. And with that being said, fantastic Friday, family.
How are you going to celebrate your Father's Day weekend?
Is that a question that you're leaving on the table?
No. I'm just asking you. How do you think I'm planning to celebrate your Father's Day weekend?
Provocative, Mikey G. After I did such a spiel of ending the show, why are you going to harass me?
All right. So, are you going to? All right, fine. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. This is the word. This is the
You're
word.
harassing me.
Listen to the words
Yes, I am going to
listen to the
complain.
words that are being
I am
chosen.
going to complain. I am going to complain.
All right, fine. So, all right, for all the persons who are planning to boycott Father's Day and go to a grand woman's and goes to a grand woman's convention on Father's Day and leaving the men by themselves, I want to say congratulations to you. You have done a great job so far of identifying the idea of what a family looks like. And these are not those women, these are the wives of the men. They're going away from them to have a grand time of not celebrating the very day that they should be with their husbands. They're not even interested in that. It don't make any sense. It don't matter. They leave it alone. Anyways, having said,
you see why you're provoking me. You see why you're provoking me.
I know. But I have to say what. Listen, I have to say what you're looking at. I can't leave it like that. I know many persons would say, Mikey G, why do you have to do this? But
yes, why does Mikey G have to trouble Coralie?
I'm not troubling you. I'm only asking you, how would you spend your Father's Day with your father? How would you treat your father on Father's Day? How would you treat him? Would you take a vacation to Mexico and leave him by himself in the house? Or would you want to cook him a nice meal or you out playing with your friends and every now and then you come back and look at him and then you go away and come back and look at him and go back?
Mikey G, I'm going to ask you to wish our fathers.
I want to say to the Father's Day coming up.
I'm going to ask you to really ensure that the fathers are vetted, that they are recognized, that they are given the treatment that they should be given every single day, and we're going to encourage the women, the children, to make it special for our fathers.
Well, when I would say that when the women get a chance to find time for the men, then yeah, do that.
I would say women.
Sorry, the wives of the men. When you find time for him, sorry, let me apologize for that. Yeah, it's a broad sense because not all women are married and they don't have the reason to do this. But I'm saying, when you find time for your husband to wish him a happy Father's Day, in fact, if he's a good father, I don't know. Anyways, guys, on Sunday we're having a Father's Day program. Sensational Sunday comes up. We'll celebrate men on Father's Day and give you a treat right here on Flashpoint. And we'll have our women, who will dedicate themselves to ensuring that you feel special and recognized at this special time. Because you cannot postpone 100%. You cannot postpone the Sabbath to keep it the next day.
I totally concur. 100%. 100%.
That's where I'm at. You can't postpone the Sabbath to keep it another day. You can't postpone my birthday to keep it another day. You cannot postpone it. Alright. Having said that,
on that very positive note, we will say enjoy the rest of the day and make it a weekend to remember. Make sure that on Monday when we come, you can report to Mikey G, all the wives and more so the men, that they felt special and they did receive all the accolades and more so and more than expected on the day that they will be recognized. Have a wonderful rest of the day, family, and remember that we love you here at Flashpoint, and make sure that you go out and spread that love.
Alright, continue to enjoy our radio on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues all day, all night. And remember, today is All Gospel Friday. Don't forget that. You're going to be having a wonderful time right here on Flashpoint. So much more to come. Have a great day, guys.
Flashpoint Radio, rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem better outside. Just us in the sky. Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem.
Hey, I am Sarah West. And the only station I listen to in the morning is Flashpoint Radio. Please stay tuned and be blessed.